A SOUQ morning, this lovely morning, and welcome to SOUQ Business Landscape. Another beautiful Monday, July 7th, as we jump off on this episode of the show. Remember, engage with us across board, especially on YouTube. Hashtag SBL. Let's share. Come on. My name is Hans Mba. We apologize for starting late today, but we'll still make the best of the time we have on our hands. With me today, one of my usual anti-usualist guests, none other than Dr. Osamhanze. Good morning to the show.
Good Nigeria, good SOUQ.
I have just managed to stop expecting that when it's time for you to say hello.
Oh yes, it's good Nigeria, looking toward a greater country, a greater continent.
And you are looking very nice in grey.
Thank you so much.
Just like myself.
Oh yes. I'm trying just to copy.
Welcome to the show. So we'll jump right to it. Business day. How Lagos turns, in quotes, paupers into mega-millionaires. So a report by Henley and Partners 2024, kind of like a few days ago, is a wealth report they put together annually, basically, has said that Lagos has 4,200 millionaires, and we're talking in dollars, right? It says Lagos may have dropped from 4th to 5th place this year due to currency devaluation, but it still has up to 4,200 people who are worth 1.5 billion naira and above. Doc, what do you say to this headline?
Yeah, great news. You see, it's and this is one reason why a lot of people talk about a post Bola Tinubu Lagos from 2000 to date. A lot has changed in Lagos. Yes, people talk about, Lagos used to be federal capital territory. Yes, everybody does know that. But you see, the kind of prosperity that the post-1999 civilian regime has brought to Lagos is quite amazing.
Right.
Of course, you see that. And you're seeing that people really have been transformed greatly, especially those who are hardworking. So that opportunity has been offered to all without discrimination. It doesn't really matter what you're doing or who you are, where you are coming from, as long as you are able to add value in this city. I know of a certain lady. All she does is that she comes out every morning from 6 a.m. in the morning to about 10 a.m. doing akara in the morning. In the evening from 4 to about 8, she's doing fried yam. She's built a house, trained on her children right here in this city.
No, but sometimes, when these stories go around, like the example you just gave, the woman, the akara, how does that add up to training the children? We're talking university that's charging
He's
up
making so much money. In short, her story was so sweet that at the time the husband had nothing doing. So she was actually footing the bill of the family. Just frying akara and frying yam are 2 peak periods. I see people who all they do is this puff, and they just put it on a school gate. You see one counter full, by the time the children eat, the thing is exhausted, and they go fry another one and bring it. Once children come out of school, they're taking it.
You said something about it doesn't matter where the money is from, as long as you're adding value.
Oh yeah, value is what it is.
Where my mind goes to is, we're talking illegal money, we're talking...
No, I'm not talking money, I'm talking about, it doesn't matter where you come from or what you do.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Or what you do, that's important.
Yes. It doesn't matter what you do.
It matters what you do.
As long as you are adding value.
It matters what you do, because the money could come from questionable means.
No,
because a lot of times that's
when you say
happened.
what you do, it means the kind of trade you're doing.
Okay. Of course.
You're having photographers who are in Lagos today. All they do is that in short, one of my cousins had left the bank for photography job, and I thought it was a joke. But today he's a big boy. Oh yes, he left a job in the bank to take on photography in this city. So the point I'm making is that it's not that, until you work in the bank or you work in doesn't matter what you do, as long as you are able to add value.
Across board.
Across board. It could be chinchin you are just making. It could be yam you're doing. You have people who are, all they do is that they're just selling along the traffic. And it's taking good care of them. And not to talk about those ones now who, of course, are transitioned from being just retailing to now becoming big exporters and importers. So the city offers opportunity to people irrespective of what you have or where you come from. And this is what needs to be replicated in other cities across the country. Take, for example, Kano has such potential. But the bigger problem in Kano today is that issues of drug had to be dealt with, the issue of insecurity had to be dealt with. So the society become accommodating. There's so much that the nation can offer if everybody work hard. You see, what Lagos has done that a lot of people don't know is the level of security. If you were in this town in the early 90s, you would know how Lagos was. Every estate is boggled. You can see robbery happening for hours.
Without help.
But those are gone. And again, that was for the visionary leadership of the Bola-led government. You remember the Security Trust Fund, $1 trillion. That even when the federal police were not funded, Lagos was funding the police to ensure that the security. And when Fashola came, he had the mandate to clear out all the ungoverned spaces, so to speak, in quote. And you know those days you have under the bridge, a lot of people are making houses where crimes are coming out.
Living in this
Oh
place.
yes, from Oshodi to Obalende and the rest of it. You see, he had cleaned up the entire space. Flowers are planted.
And light it up.
And lighting. So we see what's happening there both day and night. So this presents security, and this is what it is. And go and check out any city that is prospering. The first thing that you see is that a sense of security is felt by its inhabitants. And I think, of course, that's what Lagos need to do real more, so that we can take away the unchins from the streets.
Could that be one of the reasons why we are at where we are as a federation now? Because we're talking Lagos and its how successful it's been based on security. So we're talking Nigeria now. Is there a way we could apply the same model to ensure businesses come in to uplift the inflation, the economy being down and all that stuff?
You see, what do states need to do? Is just sit down and articulate. What's work for Lagos? So people talk about the port system. I think it's much more than the port system.
Oh yes, I agree.
So you work on your road networks.
Like the things you just talked about, as easy as, clear out, hidden areas and
ensure
light them
that
up.
people find a sense of security.
Yes.
If you see what's happening in the Southeast now, no sensible party will want to go and put money in there. Because it's worrisome.
I agree.
If you go to the South, it's worrisome. If you go to the North Central, it's worrisome. So you see here in Lagos, they've been able to produce that sense of security. And this is why people come in here and everybody are trooping in. You just need to stay in my end at Baga area and see the number of people who walk in every day.
2 times. In fact, it's like sessions, morning session, night session.
Oh, yeah.
Morning bus, night bus. And that's how Lagos are turning, quote and unquote, paupers to mega-millionaires. Next headline, business, still on business day. Gas shortages squeezes Nigeria's LNG exports by 13%. This development took Nigeria from 6th place to 8th place, losing its spots to Indonesia and Algeria, who have exported 15.6 million tons and 13 million of gas, respectively, last year. How did we fall from the position we're on? Because Indonesia...
Yeah, but you see, I keep...
because a while ago, we talked about our gas. Our gas was doing
Yeah,
great.
we have a light deposit. You see, but the problem, which for me is a huge issue, is LNG, for example, has become like a SOUQ for Nigeria since 2015 till date, in terms of profitability. But you see, all this profit that is coming, how we put it back into the system to continue to generate more money is quite critical. But you see, where this money comes, it gets into the CFR, and we share it for social service.
The CFR, for the people that don't know what
Oh, no, they call it Consolidated Revenue Fund.
CRF.
Yeah, CRF.
Yeah.
So it gets into that fund, and then the state share. But you see, business is, as you're making profit, you must put back
To society.
part of that profit into what you're doing. I was sharing with a group of people last week, and I said to them, there was a debate in Singapore Parliament early this year, where they were debating their 2024 budget. What was the argument? The argument was that, what do we do with our surplus?
Do we have surplus?
So the Singapore has a law
Okay.
right from the day of Lee Kuan Yew, 1959, that the worst that government can get is a balanced budget.
Nothing below.
Nothing below, no deficit.
Wow.
Deficit budget is illegal. So every government is working hard to see how to create a surplus budget, that you don't eat up everything. And around 1978, they made a new law to say what happened, that we make surpluses, and this surplus, how do we spend it? And they say we can spend this surplus. Somewhere around 1981, the surplus was becoming big, and say, what do we do with the surplus? Do we keep spending the profit or the dividend coming from the surplus? They said, no, you cannot spend all. They made a new law that you can only spend 50%.
15.
50%.
50. Okay.
Of the surplus, and then keep the other 50. Now, this fund has been growing over the years. Younger politicians, opposition people are asking, why are we having and growing this kind of surplus every year, and
They're not doing anything.
we're not using it?
Let's spend
And
it.
there's so much to do. And the guy was defending it, that look, when this policy was put in place, it was for a certain purpose. You see, it was equivalent to what Okonjo-Iweala was trying to do for us, which they call the Sovereign Wealth Fund. When the then Governor Forum, led by Rotimi Amici, took them to court, and the Supreme Court said it was state money, they should share it. So we lost out. Just about a week ago, Singapore released about 178 billion US dollars to back the banks from sinking,
That's fantastic.
because they have the money.
Wow.
That's what happens when people save. So when you make money and you eat everything and waiting for more to come, that's what you are seeing in this headline.
It's so sad. Next headline. OPay provides the same 5 million deposit insurance coverage as other commercial banks. Personally, I think OPay has been powering since its inception, although many not fully be, down with its 100%ness of it, but it seems to be something that is amazing. OPay, because people look at OPay as just a tech company that is just starting, But for something like this,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
but like people say, the future is in the fintech. And I think that's what Rupe has been able to actually deploy. And you remember some time ago when the CMBL came out with the new regulations about how the fintech enterprise will be run, a lot of people became very skeptical, thinking the likes of Opay, Pampay, all of them
We'll
are
shut
going to go
down.
under.
Yes.
Yeah, but
That's why this is news.
good news.
Yes, that's why this is news.
This is good news.
And
to see
another
that,
thing
of course,
about them is when their transactions, I've noticed, first-hand experience, once they do their transaction, if other banks are having issues, their own goes through.
or technology driven it.
But other banks have technologies too.
You see, the way and manner in which people deploy technology is what is quite important. Yeah, you find that these guys are leverage technology to do their work and do them very well. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they're doing excellently well. This is an assurance to the people
Yes.
who are depositing to understand that, look, we are not going anywhere. We're not going any under. We are going to be on the top. We are here for business.
Very
Your
impressive.
fund with us is secure. And I think all this guarantee, even the bigger banks need to also raise their stake, as it were, so that people can have confidence in the financial service sector.
So quickly, Doc, let's deal with one more headline before we call it a day on the show. Kenya, Business Daily. IMF may delay approval of fresh funding to Kenya. So the IMF might push back its board approval for fresh funding to Kenya following withdrawals of,
Finance bill.
Thank you.
Controversial bill.
That is what the problem is.
You know, I was listening to Ruto yesterday because some people were telling and said, oh, wow, you see, it is easy for you to sit down. You remember he was in your position and was telling us
And criticize.
what
And
Malaysia
criticize.
was doing, giving us data from China, data from India, data from Malaysia. Now the reality talks in the face, and people were asking Ruto how far. And Ruto is saying, no, we have withdrawn the finance bill. But it's not for the good of
The people.
Kenya. That people must understand the implication of the withdrawal. That number one, what he was planning to do was to put Kenya away from borrowing. But now that the finance bill is withdrawn, then that, of course, Kenya, to fund their 2024 budget, we need to borrow ₦1 trillion. Now, those who the recently recruited to be teachers, they cannot be onboarded because there's no fund to do that.
Oh, Lord.
And he was hoping that the finance bill would have done all this. But now it says that they have moved 2 years backward. That's the exact word. So it's unfortunate that that's where Kenya is. And of course, we know that IMF will only borrow you money when they know that there's a hope for repayment. And if there's no hope, as the finance bill has been withdrawn, given the popular demand from both politicians and the people of Kenya, what we need to do is hope that God will intervene. And how that will happen is
Next.
very difficult to factor.
Yes. So difficult to factor. We hope that things get different. So we'll close on this headline. Doc, I don't want you to say anything about this one. Still in Kenya, Business Daily, value of used clothes imports jumps to 28 billion. I'll leave it on that note. Sorry we had to cut this short and we started late. We apologize once again. Join us same time on Wednesday, 7 a.m. for another exciting edition where we look at business headlines from across the globe. My name is still Hans Mba. Thank you, Doctor, for being here. SBL says bye. Stay tuned for more programming on SOUQ News Television.